and welcome to another episode of In ShawScope with myself, Nick, and themselves.
Aberaeron Mackerel.
Darren Cabbage.
All right. And so this time we're talking about two films made in 1964. Lady General Hua Mulan, directed by I don't know if I was going to say this right, Yue Feng, maybe.
Good old
and
Griffin.
Yep. And The Comedy of Mismatches, dual directed by Lo Chen and Sid Kwan. We're going to be talking about The Comedy of Mismatches. First, these are both Huang Mei operas. And that's all I have to say.
Just like we like them. Singing.
Yes, yeah. So who wants to deal? Did anybody have a hard time following Comedy of Mismatches?
Yes, yeah, I did a little bit, I have to admit.
Okay.
It's just
All right.
It's deceptively simple, but it's a little bit. Well, all right, I'll do. Seeing as yeah.
Okay.
Because it's actually quite easy, really. It opens in like a temple, and there's basically a bunch of different I suppose nowadays is what they call the meet cute, isn't it? And a bunch of different characters meet in this temple, primarily Pat Ting Hung, who takes a fancy to Chin Feng, and then Carrie Ku Mei, who takes a fancy to Mao Wei. And these two, you think they'll carry a lot of weight in the story, but they're almost forgotten until the very end, right? Because there's Mao Wei, apparently head of the Shaw dubbing unit.
Oh, really?
I looked him up, and he's only in about 3 or 4 things, but that was the main thing they have on the Hong Kong movie database. But a lot of these people actually are not. It's not top tier Shaw cast, is it?
No, but
I didn't recognize many people.
No, but it still looks as good, doesn't it? You know, even if this is a Shaw picture, it's still got those sets, isn't it? And the production value.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so these are our two couples, and they're gonna exchange identities, basically, but in the form of like a handkerchief and a fan. Like, call me, basically, isn't it? It's and but there's a hilarious mix-up, and each one gets given the wrong handkerchief or fan or whatever. So the families go away and arrange these setups, unbeknownst to the people involved. They're attached to the wrong person, right? So you think that's going to be the story, but then it gets kind of sidelined because there's another upcoming marriage, and this is Li Shang Qin, a guest star apparently, but she seems to be in it as much as anyone else. So she's Chin Feng's character's sister, right?
Yeah.
And she's going to be married to someone played by Fung Kung, and that's Pat Ting Hung's brother. So they're going to be married. So that's the connecting up some of the different characters. Fung Kung falls ill, but his family refused to admit that he's ill so that the other family might back out, right? So Pat Ting Hung, so they decide to go ahead with the marriage anyway, but it's actually not quite, it's extremely contrived.
Yeah, outrageous. So in fact, so much so that they lampshade it numerous times later in the film about how other characters comment on how ridiculous this all is and how contrived it all is. So
basically, this marriage is supposed to go ahead. So Pat Ting Hung, I don't quite understand what they were really hoping to gain from this plan of action, to be honest with you. But basically, they send Pat Ting Hung in her brother's instead disguised as the brother. But lo and behold, wouldn't you know it, the other family has done the same thing.
Yes.
And they've sent Chin Feng instead of Li Shang Chen. But it's all right because they're in love anyway.
Yes, and now this is the chance for them to finally discover, what the grand fuck up is, that they've all been betrothed to the wrong people.
Yes. And then it turns into a courtroom drama.
Yes.
And a judge sorts it all out. And they sing about it a bit every now and again. I think that'll do for a plot synopsis.
I think that was a round of applause for Clive.
Actually, you did untangle.
Well, it's funny because it is not really that difficult, but I agree with you, Nick. I had to keep stopping it and hang on, am I thick or is and I think the reason is because for it to work, they have to sideline those two characters because obviously it's not going to, if it's just them, it's not going to work because they would know. Hang on,
they've got to be related.
That's my brother. I'm due to So so I mean, it's all right.
Okay, yeah. So it's funny. I have a note in the middle of this. It just says, "This is perfectly pleasant, not great, not painful."
Yeah, I'm the same. A couple of things, a couple of features I liked about it that seem to be possibly a subversion of what's come before. Although I could be overthinking this and attributing too much intelligence to the director or the writer. But I quite like the bit where Pat Ting Hung is disguising herself as her brother to get married to the one he's supposed to get married to, who's the one she loves, who's a bloke.
And we should mention, in the way these things always work out as well, automatically looks even more attractive when disguised as a boy.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing. That's what I'm saying.
Sorry.
There's a little bit of possible subversion going on in that she puts on all the male clothing, and then every single person at the wedding, apart from her parents and the bride, who's a bloke, say, "What's she doing in bloke's clothes?"
Yes,
what's she doing dressed up as a man? But yet it still proceeds, and
yes, I like it. She either sings or says the line, "Today I'm in disguise. I must hide my femininity." And I'm like, great job. You've really fucking failed. Like, she's the cutest of all of these cross-dressing girls we've seen in all of these films. She's ridiculously attractive.
The only one who did even less of an attempt to not look feminine was the Charlene Choi. What's the story we watched several versions of where the woman goes off dressed as a boy to become a scholar?
Oh, Love a Turn.
Yeah. If you remember the one with the twins chick from the early 2000s.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I quite like that. And also I quite liked, I don't know why I like this, but I quite liked when Chin Feng was playing a lady, they gave him a lady's voice.
Yes, they just overdubbed. That made me laugh. He's
even like, it was, so there was no comedy in him going, "Oh, hello, I'm a girl now." It was more.
There's a few other bits as well I noticed. It's odd. I don't know if I haven't been paying attention in the past or whatever, but this is one of the few times as well where the dubbing of characters once they launch into song was very, very, very apparent. There's like a bit where a little old man start and I'm thinking, oh, that's not his voice, his singing voice. So I'm wondering if there was a reason they cast the head of the Shaw dubbing unit, like that he had to be very hands-on from the beginning. So, well, why don't we just cast him and then he can sort that out? Or I don't know. But there was a lot of very obvious dubbing in this film. But yeah, I mean, I can see this is going to be a short episode of in ShawScope.
Yeah.
We have fuck all to say about this. Really, it's okay.
Also,
okay, go ahead.
No, you go.
I mean, there's a few things that I definitely enjoyed. Like it begins in the whole thing's very laconic and very kind of like, just kind of like cruises along at its own pace. Like it begins with who is it? The one who ends up cross-dressing as the bride. What's the actor's name again?
Chin Feng.
In fact,
Yeah. Like he's just wandering around this this temple, just kind of singing about how great it is to wander around in a temple and just enjoy the breeze and be fucking chill. And then there's the scene where she's in there and she's looking at all these murals of like star-crossed lovers, like these stories from Chinese mythology, the milkmaid and the guy separated by the Milky Way, all that stuff. And then she's thinking about, will she ever find love? And he just wanders in and is like, I'd be an amazing husband. Like, and she's just like, the fuck, who are you? He seems very comfortable in his own skin.
She's charmed by his cheekiness, isn't she?
Yes, yeah.
it's called swagger.
Yes.
Yeah. You two might not have heard of it, but I have it.
Ah, okay. And I did enjoy that. Like a major plot point was basically sick brother, right? The one who's in a coma. By the time of the wedding, he's in a coma, for fuck's sakes. And his mom is just like, yeah, whatever. We're not gonna we can't let this bride get away, regardless of whether he lives or dies. We're gonna have this wedding. But then he comes out of it, and then the story becomes, for a brief moment, oh shit, what if he wants to fuck his bride? That's clearly the threat in that little section of the story. And then basically the cross-dressing male bride scarpers at that point. He's like, "Ooh, I'm out of here," because So I enjoyed the subtext.
It does get so ridiculous at one point. I'm with you a little bit, Daria. I'm wondering if there's a bit of tongue in cheek or more than it's really. For instance, when they, when the two turn up and one is, they're both in disguises. They're so obviously not what they're claiming to be, and everyone's running around and pulling people away and going, no, leave it. There's a element of everyone knows what's going on, but it's not the done thing to bring it up. So they're like playing the game,
as in the characters. So
exactly.
So the characters know that everyone's in drag.
Yes.
I'm just not going to say anything.
It's unseemly, so that you have to kind of dance around it and make excuses and that kind of thing.
Also, I mean, I'm not sure I'm 100% behind this idea, but I want to put it forward as an idea. There are a lot of references in this film to various star-crossed lovers, cross-dressing, mythology, obviously inclusive of Shaw Brothers films that we've just seen a few years ago. This thing, the butterfly lovers are in there. There's a specific reference to, well, they associate each other with the butterfly lovers, don't they? They even call each other the butterfly lovers' names.
There's the whole Mandarin ducks thing as well.
Yeah, and also there's the reference from Made from Heaven as well, about the fairy that came down and they couldn't get married.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm wondering if this is not a little bit of, if this is not more of a spoof or a commentary.
I think it might be. I think it might be.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's not in the way that we're used to a full-on. It's not like a Zucker Brothers spoof.
No, it's not. It's not Airplane. It's not an.
No, with gags. Although now that you say that, I would love to see a Shaw Airplane style. I wonder if they ever did one. That would be great, wouldn't it?
That'd be good. Yeah. Maybe it's out there.
Yeah.
Poor Patsy Chilling definitely gets the short end of the stick with her stupid maid character. Continually just digs the family deeper and deeper grave. And
again, that also feels like a bit of a trope that they're having fun with as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's laid on pretty thick.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering,
also, very unapologetic about whole thing. I mean, she's lucky to keep it.
Yeah, he's
to
hilariously.
be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think at one point she is threatened with death by Cao Pao Shu. She's like, "I'm going to have you killed." Her and her daughter.
Actually, you mentioned you had fun with her. She is a lot of fun in this film.
Oh, she's brilliant, and as I said, she's like a sea milf. She's like a Chinese matriarch.
Yeah.
You feel the rest of that yourself. Yeah, she's kind of.
Hang on now. What, sea as in the letter sea, not like a mermaid?
Yes.
Ah, right,
No,
okay.
no, no. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I
Yeah,
like
she's
the
a
sound.
milf from the sea.
Milf sounds like a category of pornography that should exist.
Yeah. Anyway, no, she's great in this, I think, and I was surprised. We've talked off air. Surprised to find out that she's a director as well. So excited to see some of what she did. But yeah, she's one of that for me. She's one of the bright, shining parts of this.
But it's talking about Cao Pao Shu, is she's been in fucking nearly everything we've watched from a certain point in the filmographies of Shaw that we've managed to hit upon. So she's been in, I'd estimate, like 50% of what we've seen.
Right.
So
And I think often playing this kind of like angry mom or angry aunt or whatever. But this is, for some reason, she's I don't know if she's given more space here or just what it is, or if that the role is kind of subverted again in that she kind of becomes a comedy version of that at the end when she's being like publicly humiliated by the judge, basically, who tells her like, you know, maybe instead of forcing your son to have this wedding because it's lucky, because you got a lucky stick, you should have taken him to a doctor. He was in a fucking coma. That was it's a surprising moment of mocking in a way, like superstitious beliefs or whatever.
Yeah, and that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if you were keyed into these films and obviously that culture back in the mid-60s, and you went to see this in the cinema, you wouldn't be rolling in the aisles at the satire or at the lampooning of these sort of traditional tropes, you know? We're not.
No.
No,
but yes.
No. My aisle was clear of obstructions. But I still, you know, good way. I also like it. It's fine, you know. I
liked how tickled Pink, the magistrate, seemed to be by getting to like be the matchmaker. He's really enjoying himself there. Yeah. And then the chorus sings at the end that they're going to have lifelong marital bliss, so we don't have anything to worry about. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. And
I don't have anything else to really add.
It's done. Although good that we have, well, Nick has created a new category, the sea milf.
The sea milf, yes. Yeah.
Maybe in our Joe D'Amato season, we'll come across, you know, a Rocco takes to the oceans to battle sea milfs. Through the anus, of course.
Of course.
But there is that kind of bitch who came from the sea film, isn't there?
The witch who came from the sea.
Yes.
There we go. Okay. And there's Lorelai's Grasp or whatever. She's kind of a sea milf as well, isn't she?
Yeah. Mermaids of Tiburon.
Yes.
Elves.
Yeah.
There we go. We could have a whole sea milf.
There we go.
Film festival.
Yeah.
And let's not dwell on it because I'll probably force us to do that if
yes.
We for too long.
Let's move on.
Ideas.
Right. Okay. So what's next then, Nick?
I believe it is the Disney film, Lady General Hua Mulan.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Now.
Okay.
I thought Eddie Murphy was great in that.
I don't think Eddie Murphy. I think you're thinking of.
You're thinking of Shrek, anyway. No, he's definitely thinking of Shrek, which does have a donkey voiced by it.
Shrek. No. Mike Myers definitely plays a donkey in Mulan.
The reason I bring it up is because I've not seen Mulan, right? I don't think.
No, I haven't seen it.
But
that's why we should see it.
But I get no. But I get the feeling that it's one of the more like grounded ones, right? does it not? I don't think it. My image of the Disney Mulan is it doesn't have like
No.
a talking
animal.
gorilla.
So there are at least two Disney versions of Mulan.
Well, the live action one, right?
Well,
No,
there's
I'm
also
talking about the animated one from the
Oh,
90s.
right. Okay.
sequels, weren't there? Direct-to-video sequels when Disney did that. Yeah.
So, and I'm pretty sure Eddie Murphy does actually play something in it, although it's probably not a donkey. Might be a dragon.
Okay, you're right. Eddie Murphy plays Mushu, whoever Mushu is.
There you go.
Wow, I stand corrected, sir.
Yeah, me too.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
That's because the Ming Na Wen plays Mulan, and you know she's actually
Okay.
pretty great in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eddie Murphy's the second person. Oh, James Hong is in there too.
Yeah, James Hong is in everything American.
There you go. B.D. Wong, out of you know, Law and Order and Oz. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, maybe we do need to see it, Clive. I'm sorry.
No, we don't.
I'm falling into this.
I've never seen it.
Me neither.
Watch it on your own time, and no one stop it.
I want to hear that song "Circle of Life."
Yes.
Oh, it's a Hakuna Matata. It is.
A well-known Chinese phrase.
I want to hear the Chinese necessities song.
Anyway.
Yes, HUA Mulan, or Lady General Mulan from 1964. I think I've already mentioned who directed it. Anybody wanted? Darren, do you want to tackle this? The story? I mean,
yes. So Eddie Murphy plays a donkey.
Okay, yes.
So Eddie Murphy, right? It was actually Rudy Raymore, right?
Yeah.
Meets a swamp creature, right? Played by Michael Myers.
Oh, the serial killer, I assume.
That's the one.
I like the bit at the end which takes place in a disco, and Eddie Murphy as Rudy Raymore keeps saying, "Put your weight on it." That was my favorite.
Yeah, I actually watched that. I made Geraldine watch My Name is what is it called? My Name is Rudy Raymore.
My name is
Dolomite.
My Name is Dolomite.
Yeah.
I made Geraldine watch that the other night, and she loved it. So
I thought you were going to say I made Geraldine watch Disco Godfather. I thought, wow, you must be in the doghouse now.
Yeah, no, she wouldn't have that. She wouldn't tolerate that.
Make Ron watch Disco.
Avenging Disco Godfather.
Oh well, you could go full on and go. Fucking hell! Why can't I? Is Shaolin Dolomite? Oh no, Shaolin. You did say Shaolin Dolomite.
No, we watched Shaolin Dolomite.
No, we watched Shaolin Dolomite.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
I don't think Ron watched it.
No.
I've gone on the fritz for a minute there. Sorry. Right. Anyway, so Lady General Hua Mulan.
Yes.
Right. I've never seen any Mulan film ever. This is the first General Mulan film I have ever seen. But my understanding from the synopses of the Disney films that I've heard of is fairly similar.
Eddie Murphy plays a donkey.
Exactly. Eddie Murphy is a donkey. Right.
And so his father is ill, so he has to disguise himself as a human and becomes the first donkey warrior to defend China from the barbarians.
That's it. And it's got a singing clock.
Right.
Voiced by Robin Williams.
That's the one. Right, anyway, so Ivy Ling Po is again strapping on the sword.
Yes.
So Ivy Ling Po doing a great job as usual. Is Mulan, daughter of wealthy sort of ex-general soldiers family. War is declared, and he's too ill, and
also like 70 fucking years old. It's fascinated me that there was any question that he should be going off to fight.
It's Yang Chi-ching. Yeah, no, he does look like
Yang Chi-ching.
he should stay at home doing his crosswords.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wearing his slippers.
Yeah, so he can't go. Well, he wants to go. He's desperate to go.
Yeah.
But he kind of can't go because he's shit now and he's sometimes ill.
I think that's one of the songs Ivy Ling Post sings.
Yeah.
You are shit now, Dad. Stay at home. You shit old man, you. Something like that. I paraphrase.
Yeah, I think that was the general.
Yeah. You furry twat.
Yes.
Right now,
she offers to go. She does offer to go first, and then he sings a thanks but no thanks song to her, and then
so anyway, so she disguises herself as a bloke like she always does in all her films now, which we love because she's good at it. And then she has a fight with her dad and beats him, and then it sort of turns into a tournament film.
Yes.
A little bit.
It was unexpected.
That was by far my favourite part of the film.
Well, the tournament is the best part of any film.
Well, this is true.
I have to say, Chu-Mu is a pretty solid cousin here because he immediately backs her up on the whole idea of like, sure, yeah, why not? And then goes around claiming that she's his brother.
See, the thing is with Chu-Mu, you've got to know where you are with him. You've got to know his limitations and know what he is. And so long as you understand Chu-Mu's nature in any film, he's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's all right.
So we should mention as well, because Wikipedia is a little bit confused about this. They give two totally different time periods. But so the Hua Mulan legend, I think, is 4th century at the very least. So it would put it in Northern Wei time period, apparently. And the reason I bring it up is just because I was trying to figure out, because when war erupts, they just refer to the barbarians, right? So I was trying to figure out who the barbarians were in this case, but I'm still not sure. But it's that.
Yes, I often chew a pipe and ask myself the question.
Yes, who the real barbarians
are. The real barbarians are.
Yes. Yeah. Well, oddly enough, you and me, Nick, at least if you're doing your homework, we've just read a short story which takes place just prior to this time period, right? Right.
Is it that the first story? I'm
about yeah. Which is actually not. I think Lulan is basically where the Uyghurs are now, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's what I guess too from reading that. Yeah.
But anyway, so it's from that. Oddly enough, coincidentally, we've just read one thing that leads straight up to this time period taking over. So we should know, but we don't.
Yeah.
But maybe it's potentially if Hua Mulan's lot represent Han Chinese, it could be people from the Western Marches. The Western Arches or whatever, that over there, that side.
Yeah.
So it could be, not but who were the other lot? The Nyung-Hu or whatever. I don't know what ethnic group they would be, but anyway, non-Han Chinese barbarians.
Yeah. Either way, they wear horned helmets just like the Vikings and nice furry shirts.
Yeah,
like all barbarians.
I don't think they're the Vikings, but you never know.
We do get a pretty
one boat might have drifted off.
quite a ways, yes.
Yeah. Someone fell asleep at the rudder. Is it a rudder?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? At the wheel, yeah.
So anyway, so then it turns into Police Academy.
Right.
Where she joins the army, and there's lots of hijinks.
Yes.
With some rough boys that she keeps hanging out with.
There's one particularly funny bloke who can do noises with his voice.
Yes. And they're really into peer pressure. They really don't like it when you don't drink in this particular army, because there's a lot of everyone trying to make her drink a lot.
Yeah. But mainly, this is an excuse for her to meet, who are we talking about here? Chu Hen, isn't it? Yeah, Chu Hen. Who is the love interest, who's a commanding officer, and she gets sent off to work in a warehouse. This is after a genuine tournament scene with kung fu in it. That's not particularly good, but
still, I liked it.
So,
yeah, because it's got drumming and everything. It's
it's tournament scene.
Handsome fella. I'll say now, there's two bits I liked in this film. There's that bit, and then there's the other celebration scene where there's that person dancing around with that big white mask. I don't know what you call it. I like that. And the rest was tolerable, but I don't know. We'll get to this later. I think I have a bit of a problem with the MU-LAN story, so I'm not looking forward to watching other versions of it.
More of them.
Right. Well, look, me and Nick will do you a deal. Right, we'll do the 90s cartoon from Disney, and we'll do one modern Hong Kong or Chinese one, and we're done.
Off there, yeah, I could do that.
So you're saying there has to be Disney in there?
Yeah,
it needs to be the Eddie Murphy as a donkey one.
Really? What?
Yeah.
Why are you so insistent on this?
I want to see it, and I want to
talk about it.
I want to talk about that in context of this particular film and any other films we end up talking about with Hua Mu-LAN. Back me up, Nick.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm 100% down.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, generally, I mean, she falls in love with the general. There's a little bit, not much, but a little bit of kind of butterfly lovers stuff going on where he thinks, oh no, it's very inappropriate, and she's in love with him, and she won't get undressed. And
promise me this. Promise me this, that is not the thin end of the wedge, and you're going to try and get Empire Strikes Back or something on the show at some point.
No.
You guarantee me that.
I 100% guarantee.
I promise you. Yeah, I promise you that I will never ever request any Star Wars product on this show.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. If we were doing Shogun Assassin, we might have to do the Mandalorian, but that would be. But
yes.
Is there? I know nothing of the Mandalorian. Is there some Shogun Assassin in there?
It's absolutely. That's all it is.
Okay.
Oh, it's just Lone from Cub in space.
Yeah.
That sounds a little bit interesting. And I know Werner Herzog's a villain as well.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Anyway, let's not talk about Star Wars.
No, quite right.
Let's get back to.
See what I mean? See how it sneaks in.
There you go.
Yes, that shit is. It's yes. Even for a gatekeeper like myself who tries his best.
Yeah.
You got to be alert.
So she spends about 10 years in the army.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a sudden jump of 10 years, which took me aback. It was like, wait, 10 years later. And
then she becomes a general.
Yeah.
And then a boyfriend who's not a boyfriend becomes a super general.
Yeah. But then there's a general above all of them who looks like he sits behind a giant Korg synthesizer. I'm always stoked whenever he shows up. I'm expecting to noodle something on it.
Yeah. There's a nice little bit where she like heads off this raid. So she like traps the barbarians from raiding their camp and turns the table on them. And there's a nice little sequence where they're coming through the water in the mist.
Yes.
I'm impressed by your knowledge of the military there. Super general, is it?
Super general. It's second only to the mega corporal. and the ultra private.
Hang on, that seems like.
Well, let's say about the ultra private.
No, you keep your ultra privates locked up.
Yes, to yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
We definitely have a don't ask, don't tell when it comes to the ultra privates.
Yeah, and then she comes home and it all gets sorted out. Done.
Well, yes and no, except because then that's she goes home and then she takes up her life as a woman again. And it's funny in this one because in the other one, you know, in The Love Eternal, I believe Poe just played a male, right? She wasn't supposed to be cross-dressing. She's supposed to be male. And in this one, it's interesting because we see that a bit of that gender bending, because she does make a very cute girl, right? At the end of this, and then she's kind of followed, or she ends up meeting up with her, this general that she has this, you know, sexual tension with. And then there's a lot of her mocking her own character from The Love Eternal. Like, that's quite strange. It gets very meta for this moment where she does this whole joke about how, oh, you're just like that guy in The Love Eternal who, even though she sang him friggin' songs, he never figured it out. You know, and I was like, oh, this is weird. That's the character she played in that film. And also, there was other things.
Ties it into comedy of mismatches as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it seemed there was something in the water in '64 about making things very meta, and also I noticed things like suddenly, like there was sudden onset gymnastics at one point, or like kind of like it all seemed very Chinese opera in a really obvious way that I haven't seen before, where there's actually people doing flips and all that kind of stuff just for entertainment's sake, not for action. It wasn't supposed to be part of a fight. There's just people doing like trampoline shit.
And don't forget that bloke running around with the wobbly white mask as well.
Yes.
I don't know what that's called, but I like that a lot.
Yeah. And then they get married. And she gets a sword for a wedding present.
It was interesting, She gives him her purse, and he gives her a sword. And at first I was like, oh, this is very, they're laying this on pretty thick. But then I was also like, but in a way, he's symbolically handing over his phallic power to her by giving her the sword. And I was like, so, you know.
So is the purse standing for a badge as well?
That's what I was thinking. So he gets to have a badge, and she gets to have a cock, which it all makes sense.
Yeah. But the character's not emasculated either.
No.
Interestingly, so, you know, I mean, I don't know how you would write that into a script anyway. That would be weird, but but interestingly, it's sort of, you know, the hints of sort of toxic male culture or archaic toxic male culture kind of isn't anywhere near this film. So she's kind of not you know, none of the characters really brushing up against any sort of toxic.
No, it's all quite genteel.
Yeah. I mean, there is, like, Brother Wang does make some off-color remarks near the beginning of the film where she gets a little offended, and she kind of talks up.
He is Brother Wang after all.
He is Brother Wang, so
not Sister Miv.
No, but I mean, it's she ends up, you know, basically the best fighter in the whole fucking army, because she beats Brother Wang.
Yes. In
the tournament. So I did find that quite interesting. You know, in that, doesn't seem to be any fucking patriarchy in this film whatsoever.
Yeah.
For 1964, you'd be doing well if that was Hollywood.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So this one is again, I didn't like it as much as Comedy, but my problem, I think, with this story is I understand that it's a, you know, important legend to be retold or whatever, but coming at it now, after decades and decades of, you know, watching martial arts films in which you have plenty of, you know, kick-ass female characters where the gender is never really an issue, then the selling point of the story is, oh, here's a woman, but she turns out to be just as tough as the guys, blah, 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 blah. That's not really a very interesting story for me. And other than that, there's not much in the MU-LAN story. She just goes off to fight, comes back, and that's it. It's only the gender switch part which is potentially interesting. But if if you'd never seen that before, then maybe it would be interesting. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's not really that, which is why the thought of watching some more Mulans doesn't really excite me, because it's like, do you want to see a quite mediocre story with nothing interesting again? Not really. I don't know. There might be some hooks in other versions that aren't in this one. There might be a giant crab or something in another version, hopefully. But what do you think? Like, it's a very, I don't know. For me, it just like, I understand why it would be a big deal. Like, for instance, like you said, Darren, like a Hollywood version or something like that. Just because you haven't had that long history of screen female action heroes. But when in Chinese, even in 64, it wouldn't have been that weird to have seen some, sword fighting women or something, and it's not made a big deal out of. So the appeal of Mulan eludes me somewhat, because it's not a necessary antidote to a lack of that stuff. Do you see what I mean?
But we don't know what else was around in 1964, do we?
Well, we have seen some stuff, right? We've seen some stuff where we've, or at least it wouldn't have seemed that far off. So do you think Mulan, this version, when it came out in 64, do you think it did precede the other stuff that we're more familiar with? Or?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I suppose the big one is Come Drink With Me, right? Where you've got Cheng Pei Pei center stage, female warrior, and that's the woman as man trope writ large. But that obviously exists before.
Yeah.
We haven't seen. I don't think we've seen enough around the topic, particularly martial arts cinema, particularly action cinema, because we're concentrating on a broader palette of Shaw Brothers at the moment, aren't we?
I suppose the thing that's missing is a lot of the pre-60s stuff. We know they were making martial arts films for decades, and a lot of the stuff is not extant anymore, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that stuff was filled with, female action stars, and the Shaw stuff that came around this time was just a continuation, or if there wasn't. So in that case, it's possible, I suppose, that the Ivy Ling Poe Mulan film could be more of a big deal than it seems to us now, or maybe not. And
I mean, I think as well as that, I think going back to your original point that there's not much going on. She dresses as a man, but then often female warriors dress as men in Chinese films, right?
Yeah.
It's good point, really good point, I think. But I suppose because it's doing in not as overt a way as Mismatched Couples, but it's also referencing.
You mean the comedy of mismatches? There's no disco dancing in comedy of mismatches.
Yeah, but there's so it's because it's referencing things like The Butterfly Lovers, which is a very courtly drama, right? Or a drama of etiquette in families or in a hierarchy or in a society. This is actually much, you could even argue this is an action film. So in that way, although it's referencing those tropes and that drama, it's really got more in common with action cinema than, with big action set pieces like Coming Through the Water, like The Tournament. It's got more in common with an action film than it has a comedy of manners or a drama of manners, like the other films that we've been watching recently.
So did you both get on with this or enjoy it more than I, or did you kind of find it?
I enjoyed it.
Right.
I had fun with it.
Yeah, I had no issues either. So it's just, I'm just looking up the other versions, like the ones that were made before it, and there is one from 1939 that is extant. So made basically during their conflict with Japan. I'm wondering what that is like.
I'm just wondering as well if there's more to the like, how is this a little bit uneventful because it's just being very, very faithful, or does it lack him? I mean, there's something lacking. Like, it's not terrible, I think it's easy enough to watch, but I don't know, it's lacking something. Like, it doesn't. I would have thought if they were going to tell the Mulan story, they would have raised the bar or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's such a epic legend. I thought they would have, but it's quite, it trundles along quite in a pedestrian way. I'm just wondering if that's a problem with the source, that it's not actually that interesting.
Yeah.
Story.
Well, assuming the legend or the story is sparse, then I think you could actually argue. I mean, it's not my favorite film of anything in the last few episodes, but I think you could make a strong, assuming that the legend is sparse and there's not a lot of detail in the story, then I think you could probably make a good argument that importing tournament elements, battlefield elements, sneaking around strategy stuff actually did not a bad job of spicing the original up. And I'm not, I'm not going to die on the hill of Mulan. I think it's a pretty good film, but it's not amazing.
No. Either way, it's certainly dated in 60 years, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think, I think they've done. Everyone's doing a decent job.
No. It's perfectly fine, but it's no more than that. And because this is our first version of the, well, me and Darren, as I don't know if Nick, if you have.
I've never seen it.
Right. Yeah, so there we go. So we're all new to it. So I'm just wondering, so it might be, so I'm just wondering if
I will agree with you.
What's the big deal about the Mulan story? Why do they keep telling it? And I don't get it from this version. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I will agree with it in a way that dramatic stakes seem low. Right? Like, to me, I was always kind of expecting something else to happen, like either she'd be exposed as a woman and that would create a whole situation for her to deal with, or that her life would be more directly.
Yeah, there's a real lack of tragic event, right? It's like, I'm going to go off to fight as a man. Oh, yeah, that was good. That I survived. I come home, and there's no traumatic event, or no loved one is taken away from her. There's nothing really.
There's no angst, is there? There's no angst.
No, and I would have assumed there probably was in this, legendary, because all the big legendary stories have something fucking horrible happening at some point. But this one is pretty easy going, right? It's a fairly chilled out.
It's a good point, actually, isn't it? Because she goes to war and she comes back, and then everyone finds out she's woman, and everyone's kind of like, yeah, right.
Have a bit of a dance about it. There's no, there's no PTSD, and there's no, there's nothing. And I also with the convention,
and have to stitch your own armor.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
But I understand it. It's the tropes, and it's a film of its time as well, so you shouldn't necessarily ding it for that. But I don't know, it just, maybe we as we watch a few more Mulans, it might dawn on us. But what I'm frightened of is it won't, and I'll just have watched a whole bunch of other boring Mulan films.
Well, see what you think of a donkey. See what you think of the donkey in Mulan, and then we take it from there.
I don't think that is a donkey, by the way he plays.
This is just a stray observation, but Chinese beds of this time look really, really uncomfortable. There's a part where like she gets the nice bed and it's still like basically just a wood board of some kind, and then everyone else is sleeping on the floor. But I was like, there isn't even like a, in Japan you've got the futon, like, which is at least, there's a little bit of something between you and the wood, but those beds sucked.
That's why she managed to defeat the whole army. She can just sleep on a board, no problem.
Right.
Hard.
Yeah, those barbarians with their duvets. She went through them like butter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Yeah, I think that's about it. It's interesting though. It's funny. I thought there'd be a lot to chew on with a MU-LAN story, but not really.
Well, I did have a lot of fun with Lady General Hua MU-LAN. I did have a lot of fun with it. I liked seeing the tournament on a very superficial level. I just liked the tournament stuff. The battle.
I agree with you. Like the tournament, like the wobbly white head dancing person.
Yeah.
Should really.
I like seeing a young Wu Ma is in there as well, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah. Wu Ma, Li Fan,
in the field somewhere.
Chumu.
Yeah. Yeah. Tong Kai's in there somewhere as well.
Yeah. Right. Let's not belabor the point, I suppose.
Everyone else seems disappointed apart from me. I don't know why. I enjoyed myself.
No, it was fine for me too. I will agree with Clive that there was a surprising lack of like dramatic stakes.
Thankfully, we'll be back in not Shaw territory with the much more exciting Golden Lotus. More versions of that. And then at some point we'll come back to MU-LAN. Yeah. Whether it'll be animated or otherwise.
It's going to be animated.
Remains to be seen.
No.
I think we have to have.
The film, the Disney version of MU-LAN remains to be seen by us, I think.
Right. Let's go. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.